We saw how we can override a parent class method inside a child class to get a different implementations of a parent class. If it is actually a requirement, for example, you work for a company and you have a project manager or project leader and you are told to create this class, and your project manager told you that whenever you create this class you should always extend the car class and you should override a parent class method which is a drive method, and it was instructed to you verbally. Your project manager told you to extend this class and to override this drive method, so that whenever the project manager or the caller wants to see the driving mechanism for all classes, he doesn't need to go inside every child class and find the appropriate method. He will simply call the parent class method, and the child class implementations will be executed. And this is actually the polymorphic behavior. By using the polymorphic behavior, the caller can call the drive methods from every child class and see the different implementations. But for example, if you forget to override this method, and for example, if you simply define your own drive method, or simply if you don't override this method, there will be no error. But whenever caller or project manager or some other developer call this drive method, and he is expecting that he will see something driving an electric car, but instead he will see something like this one, driving a car. So at the moment he will understand that you are supposed to override the drive method, but you forgot to do that. And your project manager actually force you to do that by not saying a word, but programmatically, whenever you try to extend the parent class, the moment you extend, at the same moment you will be forced to override that drive method. And to do that, the project manager should do something else or do some modification in the parent class. And what he will do is he will simply remove the body of the class that should be overridden in the child class, and this class should now become an abstract class. So now the car class becomes an abstract class, and this method has become an abstract method. An abstract method doesn't have a body. Okay, so now it is the responsibility of the child class to give a body, to give an implementation of the parent class. And now you see that there is an error because you are trying to extend the car class and there is something inside car class that is not implemented, like some unfinished business that must be completed by the child. Okay, so now you must have to override this drive method, and if you don't want to override, there is another turnaround, and that is you must have to declare this child class as abstract as well. But if you keep going on converting each subclass or child class to an abstract class, there could rise another problem, and the problem is we actually cannot create an instance of an abstract class. So now electric car class is abstract, and we cannot create an instance of an abstract class, and also we will not be able to create any instance of this car class. So now the car class is abstract, but we don't our child class to be abstract. So I will not make this class as abstract, but what it says I will do exactly, and I will now override this drive method by simply putting the cursor and press Alt Enter and then create one missing override, and you'll see that this drive method is overridden. And now from here you give any implementation you want. For example, I'm just printing, and from here I say driving an electric car. Okay, driving an electric car. And now if I hit the run button, and you will see, now I will see the desired output, for example, driving an electric car. And if you let's create another subclass or subtype of car. For example, car class, maybe this time a fuel car. So fuel car, and this should extend a car class, and also this should have its own capacity, like double, this should be fuel capacity. So fuel capacity, and also I need to declare the constructor as well. So fuel car, that should be, I have to pass the name, so string name, and this dot fuel capacity, and also pass the name to the super class constructor, so super and name. And now we also have an error, because like I told you before, whenever we create a child class from this parent class, we will be forced to create or override this drive method. So let's override this drive method. Alt enter, create one missing override, and drive, and from here I will just print driving a fuel car. Okay, so now we can actually create a fuel car instance as well. So final fc fuel car equals fuel car, and pass the name, for example, Toyota, and maybe the fuel capacity, some figure, I don't know what it is. Okay, and now if I call the fc.drive method, and you will see we will be able to see the desired output for this driving a fuel car. Okay, but in both cases, you see the parent class method is not overridden, or parent class method is not used. So whenever we have an abstract method inside our parent class, now the responsibility of the child class will be to give an implementation of the child class. And last thing about abstract class, any class can be abstract. For example, a class, if you create a class called animal, and you can actually turn this class as abstract. So abstract class animal, though this animal class does not have any abstract method. So it is not necessary that whenever we want to make an abstract class, we must have to define an abstract method. So this is not necessary. A class can be abstract just by using the abstract keyword before the class declaration. And whenever we create an abstract class, the same rule applies here. And the rule is we cannot create an instance of the abstract class. And this is very obvious, because animal, we don't have to create an instance of animal, because if I say, for example, I have an animal, if I tell you that I have an animal as a pet, then you must ask me what type of animal. Is that a cat, or is that a dog or rabbit, etc. So animal doesn't actually specify or give a full description of an animal. That's why it's like an abstract thing. So whenever, and it is a very common practice that in inheritance or in any software development or software design, whenever we create a class and we decide that this class should be used as a parent class, most of the time we make that parent class to an abstract class, so that no one can create an instance of that parent class, because we really don't need to create an instance of the parent class or base class.